Hello ladies, gentlemen and whoever or whatever you identify as, welcome back to the Shed of Dread and welcome to another video. About 10 days ago now I did a video entitled, which will be linked up there, the new gatekeepers of Doctor Who, in which I drew attention to and tried to make sure that you understood that we were walking down a dangerous path because of the outbursts of Russell T Davies in his political points of view, that we would be pulling Doctor Who into the political realm, and how people have already started saying if you're right wing you shouldn't be watching the show, because why would you want to watch the show? Because it's our show, it's a left wing show and it's not meant for you. Now I hoped that by doing that video it would be the odd one or two. I was expecting it to be like that. And then we get a video by Paul of Sanctuary of Geeks, who managed to get Lance on. Now, if you don't know who Lance is, he's the one that Russell T Davies tweeted and called a Republican. I'm going to say see you next Tuesday, because I'm not going to use that word. And therefore, he was invited on to try and make it understood how he sees in his point of view. Now, that would have worked well if you would have done it in a proper adult manner, which would be, hello Lance, welcome to the channel, can you please just explain how you got, what happened, what was said, how you got there, and how you feel that this is wrong, and then would be correctly to challenge that point of view, and then leave it at that. Not make it a live stream, because if you make it a live stream you leave it open to be attacked as a pre-recorded video, and then you could have put that out and therefore people would be able to make their own minds up. But no, we had to do it as a live stream. And why do we have to do it for a live stream? Because it was a very lazy attempt to get clicks and likes and shares. It was a bad thing. You should never do anything like that that would therefore allow and facilitate the opportunity for a guest of yours to be ambushed in such a way as Lance was. Now, Lance's views on homosexuality I do not agree with, wholeheartedly don't agree with, but he should have been treated with respect, because there are plenty of other religions who do not believe or condone homosexuality. Orthodox Christian is one of them, and of course that's not acceptable. But also remember that the Muslim faith doesn't either. In fact, they will actively find gay people, find the tallest building and throw them off. So it's not just that. And also remember that while you're sitting there, the Church of England and the Roman Catholic Church also, and until recently, didn't condone homosexual relationships whatsoever. So it's a new thing for those things to be accepted. But the problem is, you shouldn't. This is the dangerous thing I was trying to explain to you all. That's religion. Now, once you throw religion into things start to get messy, all on their own, because it's about people's faith and belief systems. I'm not religious at all. I have no interest in any religion whatsoever. But I also understand in this world that we live in that there are people who do believe in God and things like that. And you know what? That's absolutely fine. And I have no problem with that. Unless, of course, you then come to me and try and shove your religion down my throat and tell me this is how I should think. And then we have a problem. But other than that, it's your call. And as I said before, I don't agree with any religious organisation that condemns homosexuality. Again, I have no problems with homosexuality. I have no problems with anyone. As you know, this is my thing up here. This is my mantra that I live by. Now, I judge it purely on whether or not you're being a twat or not. I don't care about your skin colour, your religion, your sexual preferences. Couldn't give a flying toss, to be fair, because that's your right, that's your opinion. If that makes you happy, I'm happy for you. As I said, the only time I have any problems is when you want me to change my life to facilitate your life, and that isn't going to ever happen. So, although I don't agree with Lance's opinion, I can also understand where he's coming from. And the thing is, this is where we have the problem. This is where I've always had the problem with people, which is the fact that the vast majority of humans are such the biggest bunch of hypocritical arseholes on the face of this planet. You will all sit there with your YouTube channels going, oh, well, you know, everybody's opinion is right, whether you agree with it or not. You know, you should respect other people's opinions until somebody comes along that has an opinion that you really don't agree with, and then you can forget all that. He's not got my opinion, therefore he's wrong. And that is wrong in itself. Now, to see how people in the comment section were just going off on one and trying to make themselves look like these new gatekeepers, and he shouldn't have that view. It's irrelevant whether he's got that view or not. He's entitled under law to have that view. And even if he's not, he's entitled to have that view. It doesn't matter whether you agree with it or I agree with it or anyone else agrees. If that's what he thinks, then that's what he thinks. You should be able to challenge that. Now, I've seen some people saying in the chat, oh, well, I was only challenging. No, you weren't. What you were doing was you were attacking. A challenging is to let somebody speak, and then you come back with your counter argument, and then let other people decide where they sit on the thing. It is not your right in any way, especially on a live stream, to decide that he's wrong and you're right, because you're not. I saw people going on about, oh, well, I can't condone him, he's a homophobic, and therefore Russell was right in calling him a Republican, see you next Tuesday. No, he wasn't. He is a grown-ass adult, which you're all supposed to be. And to degrade down to a stupid, vile insult word that even I won't say, because I won't call anyone that, because I don't like that word in particular. When I'm really, really angry, I may do, but it's not a word that I will use like I do on my channel with every other swear word, but I don't like that one. But the thing, it wasn't just the see you next Tuesday, it was the Republican bit at the beginning. Because what that is saying, and his pontifications about TV licenses and vote out the Conservatives, is you're creating not only a religious thing, but a political thing. And this is where that video about gatekeeping, you managed within, I think it was 9 days or 8 days of that video being released by me, to prove every single word that I said to be true. You have turned it into, it has now become a political and religious battleground, thanks to the actions of your showrunner. I did a live stream with Jack, and he's heartbroken by the way things are going. If you genuinely believe that this is going to make everything better, that Russell T Davies coming is going to make Doctor Who better, it's irrelevant now. Because we all moaned about the Russell, you know, we all moaned about the Chris Chibnall and Jodie era and how vile people are. But that was just about perceived sexism. Now it's become about political and religious ideology and who can and can't watch something because of that. Now, some people say, why should right-wing people watch Doctor Who? In the comment section of the video by the Sanctuary Geeks, there's a brilliant piece written by John White. It explains exactly why right people. But you know what? For me, it don't fucking matter. Who fucking died and made you God? It doesn't matter your political leanings. If you watch something because you enjoy it, you don't need to have any sort of political affiliation. How can you ignore it? He's definitely left-wing. No, he's not. He's whatever you want him to be. As I said back in The Gatekeeper, the Doctor is the Doctor. You take out of the Doctor what you want to take out from the Doctor. Yeah, just like you do with any other character. Yeah, if you're a left-wing person, you will see the Doctor as left-wing. If you're a right-wing person, you will see the Doctor as a right-wing person. If you sit in the middle, which of course is not allowed anymore, but there is more people in the middle than any of you two idiots on either side. Yeah, they'll take it that he's a little bit liberal, he's a little bit right-wing, because it doesn't matter. It's just a character. But for people to pontificate and to start saying that right-wing thinking people, which remember is based on their definition of right-wing, not an actual definition of a right wing. Oh, well, if you question it, you're right wing. Oh, well, you've got an opinion, I'll go, you're right wing. It doesn't work like that. It might work in your tiny, puny little fucking minds, but that's how it works. And nothing in this world has given any of you, including me, could have a sip of the old Pepsi Max. Other Cokes are available. They just don't taste as nice. Not sponsored by Pepsi, by the way. If only. For you to sit there and pontificate that it's based on somebody's religious beliefs, but based on your version, is wrong. You aren't the gatekeepers. I'm not a gatekeeper. None of you are gatekeepers. You can pass your opinion, you can say things, but you have no God-given right. No right whatsoever. If you don't believe in God, you have no rights to turn around and tell one person that they can't watch something because they aren't the same as you. See, the thing is with diversity and inclusivity, and all this thing about everything, being fully inclusive, it's not. It's no longer diverse and it's no longer inclusive. It's only inclusive to who you want to include. If you think that that person has a different point of view and shouldn't be included, they're not included. That's not inclusive. And then we now see, is it Mr. Tardis and Tharis, who are probably now going to get pissed off that I've done this, but I don't give a shit, who then actually go out of their way to make videos at it about how they challenge the most evilest, nastiest Doctor Who fan ever, and make out that they're some sort of knight on a fucking white charger in their shining armour, defending the rights of Doctor Who from an evil person. The only people who looked evil were you two. Now you'll say, oh, well, it was because I was challenging him because of his views. Yeah, well, he doesn't have what I find as an acceptable view on homosexuality. But you're not the fucking gatekeepers. You're not the knights standing there with your swords drawn. All you are stupid people trying to profiteer by views and likes and comments and reinforcing your own echo chambers. That's all you're doing it for. He's not the worst Doctor Who fan ever. People who take pot shots at people who have a different point of view about Doctor Who, they're the worst Doctor Who fans ever. See, that's how it works. I am inclusive. I just don't. I accept everybody's point of view. I will talk to people who like Jodie Whittaker. I don't agree with them, but I can also see where they're coming from. They think that she's a great doctor. I'm not going to attack somebody like that. If somebody says to me and he's genuinely nice and not aggressive and not being inclusive and diverse and actually being an asshole gaslighting gatekeeping dickwad who thinks that only their view of Jodie Whittaker is matters, if I meet a decent human being, and there are still many of them out there, and I've had many good chats with people who are Jodie Whittaker fans. Some of my friends on Facebook and Twitter are Jodie Whittaker fans. I have no problem with that. They think that was a great doctor. They enjoyed it. Great for them. But just because they don't have a different opinion to me doesn't make them the enemy. And that's what happens when politics and religion come into it. When it's now and it's been building for a little, and it's on everything. It's right wing and left wing. Pro Jodie, anti Jodie. J-Bots, not my Doctor Who, and all these stupid fucking childish names and all these stupid pathetic fucking sides that we've got to sit on. That's all that matters. I'm friends in my life with many people with hugely diverse opinions on everything. Some people agree with them, and I have completely different opinions to them. Some I agree with what they say, some I don't agree with what they say. Or my favourite YouTubers that I watch. I agree with some of them, I disagree with some of them. But I don't go out and call them see you next Tuesdays because I didn't particularly like excuse me, that video. Because it's their opinion and they're entitled to it. And if you, instead of blinkers and only listening to one particular point of view, if you take a bit of time to try and understand where that person's coming from, even if you still don't agree with it, you can respect where they're coming from. And what was done on Sanctuary Geeks show, and what was done by a lot of people in the chat was specifically done by Dr. Tardis and Tharis, was not that. You weren't respecting him. You were just using it as a cheap, pathetic little attempt to garner favour with your echo chamber. I have no echo chamber. I don't want an echo chamber. Now, if you're adult enough to come and challenge my point of view on something, I will respect that point of view. It doesn't mean that I'm going to agree with you, because I keep saying, and the thing is, the one thing that's gone, what happened with sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Or even better, and the one I love the most is, okay, we're not getting anywhere, here's an idea, let's agree to disagree and carry on being friendly human beings, because there is nothing worse than surround yourself like we do now in this society, in this echo chamber where we will only listen to people who will say what we want to hear. We will sit there spewing out the freedom of speech, and we want to, you know, people should have the ability to say what they want to say until they say something that we don't agree with, and then of course they're evil. Now, the freedom of speech means everybody's entitled to say what they want to say, whether you agree with it or not. I mean, there was a famous little, well, not famous, it was an interview on Twitter a couple of days ago, because some guy was talking about the anti-abortion thing in America, and he turned around and said, have you ever noticed that all the people on these demonstrations are fat, ugly women? To which a reporter said, well, don't you think, you know, people have become offended by you saying that, and what do you say to them? And he just go, be offended. Because this societal thing of offence and we're being offended, as if that gives you some entitlement, which it doesn't. If you're offended, you're offended. I get offended. There's nothing I'm going to do about it. I'm upset and angry about it, and I can get offended by it. But it's not. It doesn't change anything. And trust me, there's a lot of things in this world that I could be deemed as being offended at. I mean, look at the Snickers advert that I covered on Snickers Taking the Piss video. That's just, I mean, I've got another one will be coming up very shortly. I have another advert which just drives me insane, because it's just like, ugh. Technically that could be seen as offence, but I'm not, I may be upset and offended by it, but it doesn't change anything. Me being offended at it and shouting at the telly like I do quite frequently, or bemoaning about it, or coming and do a video on here, doesn't change anything. You have the right to air your offence, but it doesn't mean that you're entitled to do something. So if you come on a YouTube channel when they're doing a live stream and you see something you don't, you get offended by and upset by, it doesn't give you the right to be horrible, nasty, and attack somebody. You weren't. There's nowhere in any of that 4 hours. None of that was anything balanced other than it was about attacking. You were not interested. None of you were interested in his point of view. I'm sorry, but Paul and the Sanctuary Geeks, for you to bring that man on, you know why you did it. I mean, I put on, you shouldn't get, I put it on Twitter that people shouldn't ambush me. Well, I didn't see the ambush. Well, no, because you probably didn't want to fucking see it, because you agreed with what they were saying. When you have one person against 6 people, that's an ambush. That's ganging up. And it's wrong. There are ways of dealing with things like that, with things that you don't agree with, and it is never to be done on a live stream where people can jump on and add to weight. And the thing is, if, Paul, from the Sanctuary Greeks, you think that that's not fair what I've just said, then you shouldn't have allowed those people to say what they say and did what they did. But you gladly sat there and let it happen. Therefore, you were concluding. And because it's now become down to religion and politics, this fandom's finished. Because if you think it was bad with the Chibnall, Jodie era, with people having a go, when it gets down to politics and religion, it never ends pretty. I have been to places which has been down to politics and religion, and trust me, it's not a garden picnic. It is always terrible. It always has horrible consequences, and they're always casualties. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a fat guy sitting in his shed surrounded by his toys. Comment section down below, I'm sure I'll get some. Let me know what you think. Remember the rules. Everything's fine. There is no right or wrong comments. Everybody's entitled, in my channel, everybody's entitled to their opinion, unless it breaks the law, steps over the line, racism, etc. That's fine. You let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, and some of you may have, then you could do what Dave the Hand's doing here. That's right. Thank you very much, Dave. Giving it a big thumbs up. If you want to see some more videos that I do on my channel, then hit the subscribe button that's going to be down there, the little Gobby Guy logo. Hover over that, it pops up subscribe. If you're watching it in the window form on your whatever, the subscribe button will be somewhere because it moves. On some computers it's there, on phones it's in the middle, whatever. If you hit that subscribe button, which would be very much appreciated, you can then hit the bell, which looks like that. You click on that, give it a ding, and then YouTube should tell you that you've done or I've done another video, and you can give it a watch. But it does turn it off, and it's very random when it wants to tell you. But you know, at least you could try. So with that, and as always, and until the next one, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you for all your time. Thank you for spending a few moments of your life, was it 20 odd minutes of your life, listening to me and what I have to say. As I say, if you don't agree with it and you're offended by it, who cares? Because I don't. You know, you could do whatever you want, and you can say whatever you want. Until the next one.